It's Thursday, August 13. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Carol Francis. Jamaica's COVID-19 tally now stands at 1,065, with 18 new cases confirmed in the last 24 hours. Recoveries remain at 753. There are 236 active cases across the island, including 6 moderately ill and 1 critically ill patient. 62 cases recorded in Jamaica have returned to their countries of origin. 9 females and 9 males with ages ranging from 13 to 60 years make up the 18 new cases recorded. Among them are 2 imported cases from the United States of America with addresses in St. Catherine and Clarendon. 14 of the new cases were identified in St. Thomas. The remaining 2 cases were identified from General Hospital and surveillance activities in St. Catherine. The states of emergency, which were established in St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, Eastern Kingston, Kingston Western, Kingston Central, South St. Andrew, St. Catherine North, and Clarendon, will expire on Monday, August 17. We get more in this report from Melvin Pennant.
Leader of Government Business in the Upper House, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, moved the 5 resolutions, assuring her colleagues that the appropriate measures are in place.
Mr. President, we know that there have certainly been concerns raised about the ending of the state of emergency. We are assured by the security forces that they will put in place appropriate arrangements to ensure the continued safety and security of residents who have relied on their presence for their sense of safety, security, and well-being within the communities.
Johnson-Smith praised the security forces for their diligence in carrying out their duties under the SOEs.
We must congratulate our security forces. They are our heroes. They keep us safe on the front line, and they have been working before COVID, through COVID, and they will be working after COVID to continue to keep us safe. Our prayers continue to go with them.
In the meantime, she noted that the SOEs have been effective.
The states of emergency have been effective in reducing murders and shootings in all of the areas within which they have been declared, in all of the specified communities, the parishes within which they have declared. And they have provided the space for our security forces to deliver improved policing in other areas as well, although our state of crime is still chronic and we are still prone to spikes. We have, however, recognized that as at August 7th, Mr. President, we recognize a reduction in total crimes by 12.5%, a total reduction overall in 12.5%, in the amount of 12.5%. We have had reductions of shootings by 10.1%, of reported rapes 13.5%, robbery by 9%, and break-ins by 21.1%, while murders indeed are down by a smaller number of 3.3%.
The resolutions, which sought to end the SOEs earlier than the previously set September 3 expiration date, were approved by members of the lower house during its sitting on Tuesday. The approval of the resolutions by both the lower house and the Senate is in keeping with the commitment of Prime Minister Andrew Holness not to hold the general election while the SOEs are in place. Mr. Holness has announced that the election will be held on Thursday, September 3, and that nomination day is Tuesday, August 18. Melvin Pennant, PBCJ News.
The nation's parliament will be dissolved today, August 13. The last session of parliament was held on Wednesday. The sitting of the Senate was preceded by the meeting of the lower house, where Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced that nomination day is Tuesday, August 18, and general elections on Thursday, September 3. The parliament will have to be dissolved before polling day. What does that mean? Our reporter Simone Absalom explains.
Dissolution refers to the official end of a parliamentary term. Although the parliament has been dissolved, the Prime Minister and other ministers and the leader of the opposition will continue in their respective roles until the Governor-General makes new appointments. Likewise, when the Parliament is dissolved, the President and Deputy President and Speaker and Deputy Speaker continue to hold office until new members are elected to those offices. At dissolution, as with prorogation, all activities of both houses come to a halt, including activities of all sessional and select committees. All matters on the table that were outstanding at dissolution would have to be laid afresh and addressed as new matters. This is in keeping with the doctrine of parliamentary sovereignty, whereby one parliament cannot bind or be bound by the actions of another parliament. Simone Absalom for the news on PBCJ.
The Jamaica Labour Party, the People's National Party, the United Independents Congress, and the Jamaica Progressive Party have all agreed on a COVID-19 code of conduct for the upcoming elections. The agreement follows a meeting held this week between the political ombudsman and representatives of all the political parties. Political ombudsman Donna Parchment Brown says it was agreed that there will be changes to the usual campaign practices. The code of conduct was penned with guidance from the COVID-19 protocol for the conduct of a national election published by the Electoral Office of Jamaica and the interim guidelines for the conduct of election campaign during COVID-19 published by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Located in the middle of the city of Kingston, West Kingston residents have been suffering from a lack of potable water for almost 30 years. That is to change. A contract for the implementation of a major pipeline was signed on Wednesday, August 12. More in this report from Marlon Samuels.
Some residents of the Kingston metropolitan region have, for close to 30 years, not had reliable potable water. Consecutive Jamaican governments have spent many years and millions of dollars trying to make clean water flow from the taps in the communities of West and Central Kingston, as well as St. Andrew South, Western, and West Central St. Andrew. But at any given time, communities across Kingston are under water advisories.
When the city of Kingston was conceived, the level of planning that was required to really make it a modern, functional city was not fully in place. So much of Kingston is developed with very old infrastructure, which simply now cannot carry the capacity that it's needed to serve. And when you now start to talk about sewage disposal in downtown Kingston, you're looking at sewage systems that are over 100 years old, with material that was not designed to withstand the level of demands placed on it today.
$25 million has been earmarked to put the much needed infrastructure in place to provide a reliable source of potable water. The pipes are expected to last for at least 60 years before any upgrading work will need to be done.
This project will connect to the pipe that we already laid along the Mandela Highway. It will replace the old mains along Spanish Town Road to Blake Road it is. And this will ensure that the proper water pressure and consistent supply of water can reach the communities along that area and go as far as to central Kingston. Now, that will mean a dramatic change in the condition under which people live in these communities. It will mean an absolute improvement in their quality of life.
The laying of the pipes will cause some dislocation.
In 2018, when we were laying those pipes, people didn't have water, having to go through all the procurement, and then there is the drought. There was also the congestion of us tearing up the roads to put in the pipes. There may be some of that for the residents along Spanish Town Road, but I am told that we are now going to be using some new technology, hopefully, which is what they call directional drilling, which they will tunnel underground to have the mains installed where it is possible and where it can be done to minimize the dislocation of this action. So again, I would use this opportunity to appeal to the residents of the area and the motoring public that there will be some dislocation. We ask for your understanding and patience while this is done.
NWC sees itself as a national water service and sewage service provider, and therefore our efforts are always going to be focused both in rural, and I agree, and as the Prime Minister has indicated and make it clear, NWC is now forced to stretch a little bit further than its usual urban centers, because that's where we would normally operate most of our infrastructure. We're now moving further into the interior of the island. But it comes at a great cost. And it is something that I want to echo when we do these projects to help you from spending $4,000 or $5,000 for truck water. We're asking you to connect to our system legally and pay the reduced rate.
There are additional plans to ensure Jamaica's water security.
There has to be a protocol, not bypassing the system in any way, shape, or form, but a protocol to get essential water supplies and water upgrading infrastructure through the processes to the point of where it is considered for approval, either at the PPC or at Cabinet. And as we speak, Prime Minister, right now we have, aside and apart from the Rio Cobre, which is $60 million of upgrading, we have probably 7 or 8 other major water projects totaling probably $800 to $1 billion, which are in the system at some point. And I think if there's anything that I can bring to the table is to find that way to work with the agencies and the necessary bodies that regulate to see how we can get these to the point of where they are either approved or deferred or whatever the situation is. But water at this stage, you used to say, Chairman, water is life. I think it's now water is life or death.
For the news on PBCJ, I'm Marlon Samuels.
Motorists will need to dig a little deeper into their pockets this week to buy petrol. Gabriel Thompson gives us an update on this and other market news in the Business Report.
According to the latest ex-refinery costs from Petrojam, motorists should see an increase at the pumps in the prices of gasoline and diesel effective Thursday, August 13. 87 and 90 octane gasoline will be sold for $115.97 and $118.80 per liter, respectively, up by $1.22 each. Automotive diesel fuel will be sold for $116.20 per liter, following an increase of $1.43, while ultra-low sulfur saw a 21-cent increase and will be sold for $118.22 per liter. Meanwhile, kerosene increased in price by $1.17 and will be sold for $92.78 per liter. Propane liquid petroleum will be sold for $49.86 per liter, up by 52 cents, and butane liquid petroleum will be sold for $50.76 per liter after an increase of $1.30. Marketing companies and retailers will add their respective markup to these prices. In Wednesday's trading session, the JSE combined index declined by 2,166 points to close at under 400,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 83 stocks, of which 29 advanced, 35 declined, and 19 traded firm. The junior market index advanced by 41 points to close at under 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for Access Financial Services, AMG Packaging and Paper Company, and Blue Par Group. Stocks declined for 1834 Investments Limited, Barita Investments, and Berger Paints Jamaica. Trading firm were Carreras Limited, Siboney Group Limited, and Consolidated Bakeries Jamaica. Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares was the volume leader with just over 2 million units, followed by Trans Jamaican Highway Limited with 1.7 million units and Sagicor Select Funds Limited Financial with 1.4 million units. Now for the foreign exchange. The US dollar on Wednesday, August 12 ended trading at $150.01. The Canadian dollar sold for an average $113.97. The pound sterling traded for $196.11, and the euro ended trading at $179.82. Oil prices held steady on Thursday after the International Energy Agency lowered its 2020 oil demand forecast following unprecedented travel restrictions, and data showing a decline in U.S. inventories provided some support. Brent crude futures fell 12 cents to $45.31 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude futures dropped 7 cents to $42.60 a barrel. That's it for the Business Report on PBCJ. I'm Gabrielle Thompson.
For hot specials, veggie burgers, fresh fruit, smoothies, and other ITO delights daily, then you need to head to Crossroads in Kingston to Veggie Meals on Wheels. That's where Simone Absalom journeyed in this week's episode of Culinary Trails.
This week on Culinary Trails, we're inside Eagle Plaza. We're going to experience Veggie Meals on Wheels.
Hey, welcome to Veggie Meals on Wheels in Obourne Zone.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's not in the middle of Crossroads, Regal Plaza. I'm so glad this fruit is bearing now. It's August. I was worried about when, but I can just introduce it to you. It's a natural berry.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to wash it still, just coming right off the tree, you can just rub it up. Lots of antioxidant.
Kind of like grape.
Type of grape. Oh, this is the juice from the tree. We make this juice from the tree here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I can just have it nice and fresh, eh? I'm liking the experience already.
Yep.
And what do you have here? These things look like patties.
It's a yati. Yatis are actually a vegetarian patty. Vegan, natural thing. Ackee and potato, callaloo, lentils, and then each day you can have a different flavor. Mixed veg, red peas. Good thing about it, keep warm right through the day. One person can just grab it and go.
Especially in these COVID times.
Especially in this, yeah, come in and dine in. Yeah, it's very convenient.
All right,
Yeah.
so what else do you have for me? I see that you have like a whole setup here.
Of course, let's go inside.
All right.
Veggie Meals and Wheels in Obourne Zone. Because of the COVID-19 restrictions, we are serving from here, and then we're not doing a dining. So persons can order from our website, and then they come and pick up right here.
I like the materials that you use to make your takeout here. Tell me about it.
Well, Jamaica have so much bamboo tree. So we use the bamboo, natural bamboo, and we also use pallets because we believe in reuse over recycle. So we try to make it as natural and welcoming as possible.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
we come this way. So we have over 15 different fruit trees here, and we incorporate them in the meals. For instance, this is a moringa tree. So we use the leaves to make a salad, and we also use the pod to make like a stew. And for tea, we use the bark. And as you can see, we have roasting breadfruit. When the pods are dry, we use them to make fire.
This berry juice is so delicious, and Ibby tells me that this is the key to them surviving the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of businesses shut down.
Yeah.
Tell us about the challenges that you faced for COVID-19 and how did you overcome them?
Well, first of all, I want to give thanks to our committed customers who actually weather the storm with us and come and supported us through the COVID-19. Also, not having the dining experience and the talking and reasoning in the no-bone zone with the customer was a little bit challenging because people want to talk and discuss and reason. Jamaica is a blessed place. A lot of fruit was in season, so we maximized to distribute juices, natural juices, to some of our customers who at home they can take like a 6-pack, and also some of the restaurants that don't really have the facilities to make juices. So we try to capitalize on producing more natural juices. First we have the Untitled stew. And you know, Untitled stew is the more nutritious, or the most nutritious meal I could ever have in Untitled food. And when I say Untitled, I mean vegan. No processed, no animal, no dairy. So we have Untitled stew made from 2 types of peas, black eyed peas, and we have some lentils in it as well too. And Untitled stew, you know, potato, dashi, and cocoa. And most importantly is the dreadnought. Dreadnought is coconut, natural coconut. And then now we have the veggie nuggets. Veggie nuggets, no soy. And we make it here from scratch. Sweet potato base, pumpkins, carrot, and natural seasoning. And then use the flaxseed to bind it together. Then we have the good old breadfruit, you know, our breadfruit season. So we have our breadfruit there. And then ackee. Ackee, as you know, is a national dish, but we have ackee here every day. That's one of our motto, ackee every day. But we don't use saltfish because remember it is vegan. So we have to find a replacement for the saltfish. So we use banana strips. And you can't miss saltfish. People come here and eat and say, can I get more ackee and saltfish? I say, no, no saltfish. It's ackee and banana strip. And then bulgur. Bulgur is more healthy than rice. So we choose to do bulgur today. And most people know bulgur from making porridge, but it's a good starch. So we got bulgur as well. And then we can't forget the salad, tomato, cucumber, and then the garnish now we have the beetroot. And then there's some polenta, turned cornmeal. Most of you know that's turned cornmeal. So it's a balance. That's what's in the plate.
Right, so the first thing I'm going to taste is the ackee. Okay, let me taste. I don't miss the saltfish for real. Alright, I'm going to, Alright, next I'm going to taste the nuggets. Let's taste the nugget. This is my new favorite non-meat meat. And I love the sauce. Where did you get the sauce?
The sauce we make here from scratch as well. Yes, the sauce and the nugget made from scratch.
Tell me, what else is on your menu?
We try to rotate the meals. So we do a stew every day, but different peas. We also do cauliflower, broccoli, if we do a medley of vegetables. We also do steamed greens. We do some seasoned rice sometimes, because persons, depends on the day, they ask for rice. We also do ground provision, like yam, banana, sweet potato as well. We also do a vegetarian yati. Well, a yati is a patty. We also have that. If person come in and just want to get something quickly to go, they can get a vegetarian patty. And then in the patty now we have ackee, we have lentils, we have mixed veg in the yatis. Many persons come to Jamaica and they don't just want to stay in a hotel or be confined in their rooms or going to the traditional places. So Airbnb do offer experiences. So we do a cook Rasta food. And we do it here. They come, they book via Airbnb, and they come to the Regal Plaza here, the home of Veggie Meals and Wheels, the no-bone zone, and we greet them and we take them through the property, show them about the different fruit trees, because here we have ackee tree, we have some type of plants, skelly and callaloo, so we actually pick from the garden and go into the kitchen and cook. And they participate in the cooking, and while they're cooking, they're learning the different seasoning, they get into taste, they smell the aroma, and then the finished meal now we sit and eat, and then at the end of it they get a certificate. The good thing about Jamaica is that there's always fruits in season. And it's summertime. Yes, so we normally have like 5 different variety of juices each day. So this one is a berry. They call it a jumbo plum. People have different names for it, but we have a tree here, which we will see. So this is good for antioxidants. And then this now is a gimbalin. Some people call it a star fruit. Yeah, the star fruit. Gimbalin is actually in season right now. So this is good. I think that definitely this helps with circulation. I mean, for me, when I really drink this, I can feel it running through. And then now you have to have vegetables, because vegetable is not just for eating but also to make juice. So this is beetroot. I know beetroot is good with iron, and it's good for your blood as well. But it's the experience, how you feel when you step into a place. You must feel welcome, you must feel at home. Even if you have a stressful day and you come to have a lunch, you must feel that pressure on you. That experience at lunch, that environment must take away that even for the lunch hour time, and you can leave energized. So we actually try to make the place as peaceful, as tranquil as possible. And the reasoning, because as a chef, myself have to have that spirit, welcoming spirit for the customer who comes in, to can recommend a meal, even a meal that can help with their mood as well. You know, you have meals for moods. Yeah, so by just having the initial conversation, the greetings, I can pick up and recommend something to, you know, whether joy or relaxation or meal. So definitely here in Regal Plaza, we call it the no-bone zone, is where persons can really come and hold our vibes, because it's the oasis in the city. This is Crossroads, and trust me, we have over 15 fruit trees here. So just by stepping in and inhaling, exhaling, you feel that energy, you feel alive, the breath of life.
Yeah, man, definitely you can feel it.
In regional news, 18 additional persons have tested positive for COVID-19 in Trinidad and Tobago. The latest figures put the number of active COVID-19 cases at 179. The total number of confirmed COVID-19 cases reported in Trinidad and Tobago over the last 5 months has been 326. The country's health ministry says it is preparing for a spike in cases. Karen Cozier-Phillips has the details.
The Ministry of Health recorded 8 more positive COVID-19 cases on Wednesday morning.
One of those persons is from Tobago, the other 7 from Trinidad. 5 of those cases are pending investigation, and the other 3 are contacts of recently positive cases.
Dr. Parasram says in light of recent movement of people and somewhat non-adherence to public health guidelines, he expects to see an increase in the number of positive cases over the next few days to weeks. As such, the Ministry of Health will on Thursday transfer a total of 80 COVID-19 positive persons from the Couva and Cora hospitals.
The Tacarigua Center, which we expect to have 40 patients which are COVID positive from 2 centers, that is the Cora Hospital and the Couva Hospital. We also expect to prepare another center, which is the Balandra Center, with 40 patients on average.
Technical Director of the Epidemiology Division at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Avery Hines, estimates about 64% of recent cases are linked to clusters of illness among families, in similar workplaces, and in members of group activities, including outdoor gatherings. He says most often the cases are pending epidemiological investigation, and explains what the term really means.
And we don't walk up to someone, scan the QR code on their forehead and get all their epi info. It's an iterative process where we ask about activities, we ask about interactions, we ask about locations. And in so doing, we get some idea of who they might have exposed as well as where they may have been exposed.
Dr. Hines says sometimes people don't recall where they went, who they were in contact with, or they withhold information. And as the number of COVID-19 cases continue to rise, his advice is to treat every sign of illness with a different level of suspicion.
They can mimic the sinusitis and the asthma and the other things that people have as background illness. So anybody experiencing flares of those symptoms at this point is encouraged not to dismiss it.
As at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases stood at 308. Karen Cozier-Phillip, TTT News.
Another day of frustration for some Bahamians who lined up outside the National Stadium from 5 in the morning to collect benefit checks from the National Insurance Board. Some laid-off workers walked away angry and empty-handed, while another left with a benefit check for less than $15. Georgia Bain tells us more in this report.
Bahamians from all walks of life waited in long lines as early as 5 a.m. hoping to finally walk away with much-needed funds after months of unemployment.
Far majority of people who are paid NIB, we are paying currently about just under 40,000 people now, 37,000 people, get their payments via direct deposit. And we have a limited number of people who chose not to give us banking information or gave us incorrect banking information. And so they receive their funds via check deposits.
LaShonda Bain, a former worker at Bahamar, said she was standing in line since 5 a.m. and despite having several bank accounts, her benefits were never deposited.
It's ridiculous. The wait, older people, elderly, the pregnant ladies, they're standing here constantly for hours. Riots, basically, people fighting, jumping the lines. It's ridiculous.
Also online was this former security guard and carpenter who said he's been relying on the kindness of family members since being laid off in March. He applied for unemployment benefits but said he has yet to receive a dime.
They say something about this missing, the next thing missing, are going to bring that B80 form, are going to get that again. But every time you give national insurance something, it's like something is missing again. You know, so I've been here from March trying to get sorted out, and I'm still here trying to get sorted out.
Meanwhile, 29-year-old John Kelly, who worked at the Lyford Key Club, said that he has been working for 10 years and never needed to collect anything from NIB. He said he's been living off of his savings since April because the process of collecting his unemployment benefits has been difficult.
I've been out here from probably about 6 o'clock, and I've been out here last week, Monday also. They tell me, so you must go to the back of the line. And I only trying to find out some information. I told the whole line just to find out the information. Come to find out, my name isn't on the list still.
Even worse than waiting in the unbearable heat for hours is walking away empty-handed. Well, that's what happened to this skilled man who showed up at the stadium at 5 a.m. to beat the crowd. He said the process is hurtful.
It's hurtful. I've been on Monday, the crowd is about 1 million, and now there's 1 million too. Now they say Friday again. I can't take no more.
You coming back Friday?
I fight for my own dance.
Are you coming
Unless
back
they call me personally on my phone, I ain't worried about that. Because I'm a skilled man. I do most anything. And they come here and take it, they get nothing. Or on a promise to get nothing and I could be doing something. They don't want it.
And while many walked away without collecting their checks, this father of 4 was taken aback when he received a check for less than $15.
$14.83. Can't leave by a gunk snack. I don't know what's going on there. I stand in line for 4 hours for this. Man, I can tear this up.
National Insurance Minister Brenslow Roll had promised a smoother check collection process following the chaos and confusion that occurred on Monday.
And what we're finding is we have a number of people who are here for check collection, and we have a number of people who are also here for queries. They have questions, and we do have other mechanisms, and we're trying to offer them other ways to reach out and contact NIB.
In sports, we are in the creases with cricket. The West Indies cricket team is about to kick-start its Summer of Cricket tour. New Zealand Cricket's David White says he had already received confirmation from Cricket West Indies that the Caribbean side would undertake a bilateral tour expected to be played under the same biosecure conditions which govern West Indies' 3-test tour of England. The COVID-19 pandemic outbreak forced the cessation of cricket globally for nearly 4 months until the Windies' recent tour. New Zealand has been widely praised for the efficient manner in which it has handled the pandemic, making it one of the safest countries across the globe. It is set to be a busy season with Pakistan, Australia and Bangladesh featuring prominently. Former director of the Jamaica Olympic Association, JOA, Alan Beckford, has signaled his intent to challenge President Christopher Samuda for the office in the election due next year. Mr. Beckford, who has been a director for 7 years, resigned his post on July 12, citing displeasure with the direction of the organization while noting that he needed time to reflect. According to Mr. Beckford, the JOA that he envisions is one that is athlete-centered and able to foster and increase stakeholder partnerships. And that's our package. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same place for more news and sports right here on PBCJ, the People's Station.